Hey you guys, so I have a special treat for you. So many of you guys asked me, what about mature skin? Is this makeup good for mature skin? This is my mother-in-law. Her name is Paulette, and I'm going to do her makeup so I can show you how great this makeup is for all skin types. You can see that Paulette has a little bit of texture, some lines, and I want to show you that even with textured skin, even with lines, even with some wrinkles or whatever you have, this makeup is great for you because it's pigmented and you don't need a whole lot, so it doesn't really do a lot of caking and creasing. So take a peek. Okay, so these are her shades. This is a number 4 collection. Mango, June, Indigo, and Royal is in the number 4 collection for the level 5, but we're using Black Cherry instead just because I don't have Royal. So I'm going to take this 3D brush, tap it really lightly into the main shade just to get a little bit. You don't need a whole bunch. And we're just going to lightly kind of dust it everywhere. You don't need a whole lot because this will soften and melt into your skin. So this is not something that you would apply like a liquid foundation where you smear it all over. Just want to lightly dust just to get coverage, but not applying heavy layers. In the eye area, I do a super light tapping, close your eye, and I'm going to just lightly dust in this area. So lightly dusting, very little product, not a whole bunch. This is just a great way to even the skin tone without caking on a bunch of product. Okay, so you can see that I just did a very light amount. There's not a whole bunch of cakey texture. It's just enough to add just a light amount to even the skin tone. Now you're going to be able to see where I contour the already existing shadows. Tap it into that contour really lightly. So I'm just lightly tapping on her already structured cheekbones. So you see this area here, like look straight ahead. You can see where she already has a cool gray ashy shadow here. So I'm just enhancing it just a bit with the contour shade and blending up to give her a lifted look. So always blending up. This is not something that requires a lot of skill. Once you know where everything goes, then it's muscle memory from there. Lightly enhancing that shadow. And instead of going in the shadow, I'm kind of coming on top of it just to give a little bit more of a lift. Now I'm going to use a little bit more contour on the top of the forehead where the hairline is and blend this contour into the hairline. This is going to make the forehead appear a little bit smaller, give a little bit of dimension without going super balls to the wall with heavy, crazy makeup. So you can see the dimension building with every little bit that you add. And this super dark color, you can see that it's not crazy dark on the skin. It's just really light application. So you can see how you can get a really big impact with just very little. So now I'm going to add a little bit of a brightening shade. This is June, and I'm going to take the same brush, the other end. You can see it's a little bit less fluffy, a little bit more dense. And I'm just going to apply this kind of right on the sides of the nose and feather out. And this is going to allow me to add a little bit of brightness without shoving a bunch of product in texture and lines, and just bring the brightness to the center of the face. So kind of straight down the face, just really light tapping here. You see I'm not putting a whole bunch of product under the eyes. We can actually use demi correctors to cancel any unwanted pigment there. So kind of avoiding a lot of texture and brightening the center of the face. So you're getting a lot of dimension just by adding the brightness without adding a whole bunch of product. There's not going to be a bunch of cakiness or texture. And you can even add more. So you can add as much or as little dimension as you want just by adding a little bit more contour or a little bit more brightener, and you'll be able to see it just kind of build as you apply more. So this is really buildable. It's really preference. This is not something that's required. When you contour the jaw or the jowl areas, you can really give the appearance of an enhanced shadow and make your jowls appear a little bit smaller, although she doesn't have very big jowls, but it really does. Anybody can really just enhance the really nice shadow there and just bring that structure to the face a little more. If I want to contour the nose, even if you don't have a big nose, you can really add a little bit of structure to the face. This is a smudge brush in the contour, and I'm just going to bring this really light line straight down the nose. This is just to give an appearance of a more structured, slender nose, and it just brings, when you add a little bit of the brightening highlight to the center, it just kind of creates the appearance of a more structured nose. And these are things you can skip. Like, you don't have to do all of these things. These are just fun things that you can do to kind of explore with the structure of your face. Now we're gonna add a little bit of the lip and cheek. So I'm using Black Cherry. Black Cherry looks really dark, but it's not. It's just a light, kind of really pretty shade. I'm gonna hit up the backs of the cheekbones, and then you just kind of blend it. And I'm lifting up with it. So you blend up toward the sky, up toward your temple, up toward your hair, without pulling it down on your face. A fluffier brush, this is the blush and bronzer brush, will give you a more sheer coverage, and it'll just kind of help you to finish off your look. So that's the number 4 collection. So when you have all of this together, this is just the 4 shades. So you can do a full face of makeup with just these 4 shades. I like the number 8 collection because it comes with bronzers, more lip and cheek shades. So check out what happens when we add a little bit of bronzer. So I'm gonna add Bella bronzer just to kind of add a little bit more warmth to the face. And this is a really great way to add even more dimension. Bronzer goes in the shape of a C around the eyeball, right? So you can see that it really creates a little bit more dimension here. So you see this C shape here? And you can see that it's just, she's getting a really beautiful dimension without adding super heavy layers of makeup. Like it's just super soft and super easy. Okay, so these are demi colors. These are color correctors. So anywhere where there's any additional darkness, like when you see discoloration around the eyes or acne, melasma, anything like that, we can cancel it with demi. So you notice I didn't put hardly any product under the eyes, but we can cancel out that darkness. Usually this darkness is blue, so we want to cancel it with orange. So I'm going to use a teeny tiny amount, and I'm going to look up. I'm going to lightly tap this right where that darkness is. It's going to cancel that out without adding a crap ton of product. So where there's more texture here, we don't want to shove a bunch of product there. That's why this is great to have demi color correctors instead of concealer or a heavy foundation, because this is so light, so little makeup that it's not going to crease or cake in that texture or those lines. It's just going to be a really beautiful cancellation of pigment. There's a little bit of a darker blue up here, and then there's a lighter blue down here. I'm just using the darker orange to cancel the darker areas of blue or discoloration. I'm using the fluffy end of this bright brush to pick up any excess product. And then where there's lighter blue, I'm gonna use the lighter orange. For the lids, there's a little bit of violet. You can see like the violet kind of reddish tones. We're gonna cancel that out with yellow. Yellow cancels violet. I'm gonna take a little bit of this yellow and I'm gonna apply it right on the lids. So this yellow is gonna cancel out a lot of that violet coloring and really add brightness to the lid. And you don't need a whole lot. This is really light coverage. What you can see is now there's color that we've added to her face. It's not a lot of cakiness. There's not a lot of texture. This is a really beautiful cream, so it's gonna add that hydration all day. It's not gonna evaporate like the alcohols in liquid foundations, and it's just a really beautiful color. One thing you can also do is take your contour shade with a line brush. It has the spoolie and a flat angle brush. And we're gonna fill in the brows just enough to add a little bit of boldness. Not a whole lot, not super heavy. I'm just lightly filling in using the contour shade. So just where on her eyebrows, where it's a little bit lighter out here on like toward the tails of the eyebrows, I'm filling in a little bit more there and just kind of adding a little bit to blend toward the fronts. Okay, so now for eyeshadows. When you use eyeshadows with textured skin or textured lids, you have to be a little bit more careful, but you can still use like shimmers and stuff like that. So I'm gonna show you how. So we're gonna use Bubba as an all over color. And we're gonna apply Bubba really lightly. Okay, so this is Bubba, and I'm just fluffing this all over the lids, kind of staying under the eyebrows, just leaving a little bit of a bright color here. So you can still wear eyeshadow on textured eyes. Sometimes you just have to do it a little bit differently. Now I'm gonna use Revival, and I'm gonna put this right on the outer corners. Because there's texture here and a little bit of a hood, not much, I'm going to pull this up here and just apply a little bit of the darker shade right here, kind of at an angle from the outer corner towards the lash line. Pull that there and then just lightly sweep in just a little bit. Then I'm gonna use the fluffy end of my brush to just kind of blend that in. Really light tapping and little bitty circles without bending the bristles. So we're not pushing hard into the lid. We're just kind of lightly tapping. Sorry, did I knock your eyeball out. So same thing on the other side. So a little bit of Revival. I'm gonna put a little bit right here on the outer corner, sweep it in toward the lash line, and then sweep in, kind of creating a V and sweeping it in toward the inner half of the lid. When she looks straight ahead, you can see that there's still texture on her lids, but there's an area right here that is not very textured. So if she wanted some shimmer, we can totally add shimmer there without it looking crazy or getting all crazy in like lines and stuff. So don't let anybody tell you that because you have texture or because you're older, you cannot wear shimmer. So if you take a really pretty shimmer with a really small brush like this, you can apply your shimmer right there in that area where it's not so textured and still get a really beautiful color payoff. I'm staying under the crease and I'm staying close to the lash line and close to the inner corner. So not a whole bunch of shimmer, just enough to give that pop. I'm putting it right here on the inner and pulling it towards the outer. I love how this color, these colors make your blue eyes pop. So right here, inner corner, sweeping out. I'm taking a little bit of the Bubba, that first color I applied, and I'm just gonna rock it right here, right under that lash line. Just really lightly, nothing crazy. This is the multitasker brush. This is a great way to apply lippies, and we're just going to do a light lip. This color looks super dark, but it's gorgeous. This color is just so pretty. Same thing here. So the final touch is the mascara. Okay, so you can see how beautiful her face looks. There's nothing cakey, there's nothing settling, there's nothing creasing. It's just really nice color and really nice dimension. Like you can wear a little bit of shimmer, you can add the color without being super crazy. How do you feel? Oh, you haven't seen yourself in the mirror yet.
No, I haven't. Oh, wow. Okay, you're elected. You can do my makeup all the time.
Do you feel pretty?
Yes.
What do you like about it?
I really like the eyes.
Your eyes are popping like crazy. Yes. Look at this glow. I didn't use any illuminator. This is just the glow from the cream makeup. See how it's just catching the glow just a little bit? It's nothing super crazy. She's not greasy. She's not like super glossy. It's just a really beautiful, youthful glow. So what do you guys think of Paulette's makeup? Doesn't she look beautiful? You guys, look at those eyes. And that's the black cherry on her lips and a little bit on her cheeks too.
I like it.
You look so beautiful. Paulette also wears glasses and you can see she still looks great. Her eyes are still popping. Now with hers, the colors that I used on her eyes, so she has blue eyes, so I used some of the gold and a little bit of more orangey tone colors to make her eyes pop because the orange cancels blue. They're opposite, so that's really gonna make that pop. And so the black cherry lip and cheek really plays well off of that. I'm telling you guys, I know what I'm doing. Buy the freaking makeup. I'm telling you, I know what I'm doing. Please trust me.